There she is, the woman of the hour, Caitlin Clark, arriving to Pelican Golf Club outside Tampa earlier this morning to compete in the Annika driven by Gainbridge Pro-Am for the second straight year. There you see Caitlin's Indiana Fever teammates, Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull in caddy bibs, serving as honorary caddies.
People said the buzz was gone, that the injuries, stress, and non-stop attention finally caught up to Caitlin Clark. 4 months, her name was everywhere online, but nowhere on the court. Then on a quiet morning in Florida, far from any WNBA floor, Caitlin stepped up to the first tee at the Annika Pro-Am and shocked every critic watching. It was supposed to be a relaxed charity outing, take a few photos, hit safe shots, wave, and leave. Instead, it became her first real test since the WNBA season ended in July. No trainers around, no limits on minutes, just a tee box, elite LPGA players, and thousands of fans standing behind the ropes to see if the star still had that spark. You need to understand why this day mattered so much. Caitlin hadn't played anything competitive for months. Groin and ankle issues kept her out. People questioned her toughness, her effort, even if her prime was already over. Others said she was too busy with events and appearances instead of basketball. But here she was invited back to one of the biggest weeks in women's golf. The Annika driven by Gainbridge at Pelican Golf Club, hosted by Annika Sorenstam herself. And now a WNBA rookie, stepping into that world with every camera pointed right at her. Her group told the whole story. Caitlin wasn't tucked away on some quiet hole. She was paired with Nelly Korda, world number 2 and defending champ. Annika hosting, Golf Channel showing every shot. And with her, Indiana Fever teammates Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull carrying bags. Turning a Pro-Am tee sheet into a mini WNBA reunion on the course. When she stood on that first tee, it was early morning, but it didn't feel calm at all. The crowd was full of kids in Fever jerseys and Iowa shirts. Phones up, recording everything. It didn't look like a casual event. It looked like a major built around one player. Everyone wanted to see that first swing. Would she look rusty? Tight? Nervous? Caitlin pulled the club back, swung through, and sent a clean drive down the fairway. On her first hole, she hit the green in regulation. No luck, no soft bailout, just a smooth controlled shot that said, "Yes, I'm still an athlete." But she wasn't flawless, and that mattered too. Her long putt came up short, and her reaction said it all. She wasn't just showing up to smile for pictures. Even in a Pro-Am, she was frustrated at a miss. The timing needed to return, but the competitive fire was still there. As the round went on, the cameras caught something even more telling. Caitlin wasn't just swinging and laughing. She was adjusting in real time. After a few tee shots drifted right, Nelly Korda's coach Jamie Mulligan walked over with a quick pointer. Caitlin listened. They talked about swinging too fast, trying to crush the ball, slowing down and trusting the motion. On the next tee, she hit her best drive all day. Smooth, centered, balanced. That tiny moment said everything. Different sport, same elite mindset. She can take coaching instantly, change her approach, and perform under pressure. Golf Channel even said this was the first time since July she'd truly felt that rush again. The focus, the nerves, the feeling that people weren't just watching her, they were expecting something big. With borrowed clubs and a new sport, she still wore the same locked-in look. But every story like this needs one highlight, and that moment came on the 10th hole. By then, Caitlin had played steady golf. Fairways, greens, better putting rhythm, solid, safe, controlled. But Caitlin Clark didn't get famous by being safe. She needed one big moment. Standing off the green on 10, she joked about sinking one so the crowd would go crazy. Whether it was confidence or pressure, she stepped up, rolled the long putt perfectly, and drained it. Dead center. The crowd erupted. It wasn't calm applause. It was a full roar. Kids yelling, adults cheering, broadcasters laughing at how perfectly Caitlin Clark it was to call a shot in a different sport and then hit it. It felt like a golf version of her deep threes. Same calm follow-through, same walk to the ball, same look like she already knew it was dropping. Around her, the day kept delivering TV moments. Sophie Cunningham stepped up, took a swing, and accidentally hit a fan in the crowd. Chaos for a second. She checked on them, signed a ball, gave them a hug, and turned it into a memory they'll tell forever. Lexi Hull followed with a cleaner drive, and the fans cheered and laughed. Those little moments showed something bigger. They showed the fever's chemistry outside basketball. They showed how much fun and energy Caitlin brings everywhere she goes. This wasn't just a Pro AM, it felt like a traveling show built around her. And people in golf took notice. Nelly Korda said the first tee felt like a scene from a novel. She couldn't believe so many people came out for a midweek Pro AM just to see Caitlin Clark. Annika Sorenstam talked about how powerful it is to have an athlete like Caitlin introduce her massive audience to women's golf and how much that crossover can grow the sport. That's what critics never understood. They said she was too distracted. They complained about commercials, events, and golf outings. They wanted her to stay in one lane. But this is the lane. Caitlin isn't just a guard. She's a force that lifts whatever sport she touches. While people questioned her focus, she was doing 3 things at once. Showing she's healthy again. Respecting another sport by competing at a strong level months after not playing and using her spotlight to elevate women's sports as a whole. After the round, Caitlin said she felt completely healthy. No excuses, no rehab talk, just excited to compete again. On grass now and soon on hardwood. With overseas duties and another WNBA season coming, the message was clear. Her body is ready and her edge is back. That's why this round wasn't ordinary. It wasn't about scores or Pro AM trophies. It was about proving that even when she leaves the court, the excitement doesn't fade. She can show up at a golf course and instantly turn it into must-see television. If this is her when she's rusty, imagine her back in a packed arena with the ball in her hands and a full season ahead. The doubters aren't just wrong, they're behind. From a nervous tee shot to a called clutch putt that set off a crowd, Caitlin Clark turned a quiet Wednesday Pro AM into another chapter in her comeback. The sport changed. The stakes were smaller. But the message was loud. If you're still with us, comment Annika comeback so we know you're riding with Caitlin all the way back.
We're back with another video, and it looks like Caitlin Clark has broken the damn internet yet again. We have several things to talk about in this one. We have to talk about the Indiana Fever sending a
The WNBA struggles to protect its biggest star. The LPGA just rolled out the welcome mat. Cameras flashing, fans cheering, sponsors lining up, and all for a basketball player. Caitlin Clark didn't need to say a word. Her golf swing proved exactly how a superstar should be supported. But how did a league she doesn't even play in succeed where the WNBA failed? Let's walk through how the LPGA turned Caitlin Clark into their top storyline and what that means for women's sports right now. When Caitlin Clark returned to the Annika driven by Gainbridge Pro AM at Pelican Golf Club in Florida, nobody expected what was about to happen. What was supposed to be a laid-back off-season event became a worldwide moment. Tickets didn't just sell out, they went up 12 times. 34 million social media views in a week. Golf fans, basketball fans, and even people who don't watch sports at all. Everyone wanted to see Caitlin Clark hold a golf club. The COO of Pelican Golf Club said it perfectly. This might be the most talked about women's golf event ever. The numbers are wild. Last year already showed Caitlin's drawing power. This year, it's complete chaos. Fans in Iowa and Fever gear lined the fairways like it was a Final Four game. And she's not even a golfer. The LPGA knew exactly what they were doing. They paired her with legends, world number 1 Nelly Korda and 10-time major winner Annika Sorenstam. The point wasn't just to sell tickets. It was to prove a message. Women's sports can be exciting, marketable, and profitable when you treat your stars like stars. And they didn't just treat Caitlin well, they celebrated her. Nelly Korda said, "It felt like playing with a friend." She was calm, confident, just having a great time. Annika Sorenstam added, "She's incredibly mature for 22, very composed, always says the right things." She brought a fun energy to the event.
Last year, Clark played 9 holes with USA star golfer Nelly Korda and another 9 with Annika Sorenstam. Quote, "It was an honor to play in the Pro-Am with Caitlin last year. The crowds were amazing, and we are excited for her to return to the Annika in November," Sorenstam said in a statement. She added, "Such a great dynamic to our event, and her passion for golf and competitiveness were fun to witness firsthand. I look forward to having her back and continuing to introduce the great game of golf to the next generation."
To the LPGA, Caitlin wasn't an outsider. She was an opportunity, a chance to bring millions of new fans into their sport. and they made sure she felt respected every step of the way.
I had an amazing time at the Annika last November and participating in the Pro-Am along Nelly Korda and Annika Sorenstam, two of the best in the game, Clark said in a statement. I'm honored to be an ambassador for a company in Gainbridge that is so committed to elevating women's sports. I can't wait to return to Tampa in November to play in the Pro-Am with the best women golfers in the world.
Meanwhile, over in the WNBA, the difference couldn't be clearer. While the LPGA proudly aired her prom live in primetime, the WNBA buries her press conferences behind random highlight clips. The LPGA built an entire event around Caitlin Clark, but the WNBA acts afraid to admit how valuable she is. This is the same athlete who raised league attendance by more than 30%, boosted TV ratings by double digits, and became the top-selling jersey in the sport, yet she still makes just $78,000 a year. And instead of praising that, too many voices in the league dismissed her success, downplayed her impact, or targeted her physically on the court. Where the WNBA focused on control, the LPGA focused on growth. LPGA leaders created campaigns around her. They featured her in every promo. They let her be the star. The commissioner even called her a once-in-a-generation crossover talent who brings energy everywhere she goes. That's the difference. The LPGA saw what the WNBA still refuses to accept. Caitlin Clark isn't competition. She's transformation. And the results prove it. The prom completely sold out. Fans drove in from several states just to watch her practice swings. ESPN and Golf Channel covered her every step, and even the pros couldn't hide their excitement. Players like Lilia Vu, Andrea Lee, and Megan Kang rushed to greet her after finishing their rounds. It wasn't jealousy, it was celebration. That's what real support looks like. And beyond the course, celebrities paid attention too. Tiger Woods praised her influence. LeBron James called her special. Chris Evert said the WNBA should appreciate her as the greatest thing to happen to women's basketball. Paige Spiranak went viral after posting, "The hate toward Caitlin Clark from some players is disappointing. Women talk empowerment while tearing each other down. The LPGA gets it. They let her shine. This is the turning point." One league is stuck in bitterness while the other has unlocked the blueprint for growth, respect, exposure, and genuine value. Caitlin didn't just boost ticket sales. She proved something bigger. People want women's sports to win, but they respond to how athletes are treated. The LPGA offered cameras, coverage, and gratitude. The WNBA offered bruises, backlash, and silence. That's not negativity. That's the truth. And the wildest part? Caitlin never asks for special treatment. She just shows up humble, focused, and calm, and the world follows her anyway because people fall in love with athletes, not leagues. And the LPGA understood that immediately. As she stepped onto the Pelican fairways in November with thousands cheering, she didn't look like someone desperate for validation. She looked like someone who already won. No drama, no tension, just respect. A perfect visual message. A basketball superstar drawing bigger attention than career golfers. Not because she demanded it, but because she earned it. The LPGA's treatment wasn't about politics or publicity. It was about recognizing a moment. They knew she was more than a player. She was a bridge between women's sports and mainstream culture. Every fan reaction, every headline, every camera flash told the same story. The world loves authenticity and excellence. Caitlin Clark offers both. Experts are already calling her LPGA crossover a marketing blueprint, a win for women's sports that the WNBA could have owned if they embraced her sooner. And maybe that's the real lesson. This was never just about salary. It was about respect. The LPGA didn't try to control Caitlin. They trusted her star power and it paid off. Meanwhile, the WNBA is still trying to manage her. And in doing so, they're letting another sport take her spotlight. So while the LPGA celebrates, basketball fans are left asking the obvious question. What if the WNBA treated Caitlin Clark the same way? Because in one weekend, a golf event showed the world what true support looks like and reminded everyone that respect is what fuels growth. Caitlin didn't attack anyone. She didn't beg for attention. She simply showed what happens when greatness is embraced, not restricted. And that's the real exposure. If you're still reading, drop Team Clark in the comments because nobody elevates the game like Caitlin Clark. Her LPGA return was supposed to be a victory lap, until Kai Trump arrived. In an instant, a fun and relaxed prom turned into a political showdown. On one side, the most beloved athlete in America. On the other, the granddaughter of the sitting US president. What should have been a quiet off-season moment has spiraled into one of the most unexpected rivalries in women's sports. So how did a 22-year-old hoops icon and an 18-year-old rising golfer end up at the center of a viral cultural war? Let's break down what really happened, and why it's shaking two entire leagues. When Caitlin Clark confirmed she'd play in the LPGA's NNA Prom at Pelican Golf Club in Florida, fans expected a light-hearted event, a chance to see her personality during the WNBA off-season. But this year, the stakes are different. Clark is no longer just a basketball player. She's a billion-dollar brand. Her presence turns every event into a spectacle. Last year's prom was historic. Ticket sales jumped more than 12x, social media impressions hit 34 million within days, and golfers couldn't believe the attendance. Fans in fever and Iowa gear filled fairways like it was March Madness. LPGA executives even called it the most talked-about women's golf event ever. This time, excitement was already massive, until Kai Trump entered the picture. Yes, Kai Trump, granddaughter of sitting President Donald Trump, was given a special sponsor exemption to make her LPGA debut at the same event. And the timing was explosive. Kai, just 18 and committed to the University of Miami golf program, instantly became the center of controversy. To many, it looked like a political stunt. To others, a marketing win. But one thing was certain, this was no longer just a golf tournament. Because when you put Caitlin Clark and a Trump in the same field, the headlines write themselves. Fans instantly split. Some said it was great exposure for women's sports. Others said the LPGA turned the event into political theater. And once again, Caitlin Clark, who had nothing to do with the decision, found herself in the middle of a national debate. The story instantly became Caitlin Clark versus Kai Trump. Two completely different worlds colliding. The clean-cut, universally loved basketball icon versus a last name that instantly divides the internet. The moment the news broke, social media erupted. Hashtags like #TeamClark and #TeamTrump started trending within minutes. Golf threads turned into political arguments. Even cable news jumped in. And if the media frenzy wasn't enough, drama from inside the WNBA added fuel to the fire. Remember, Caitlin Clark's golf appearances have always rubbed some players the wrong way. Last year, Angel Reese reportedly threw shade online, posting, "I can play golf too," before deleting it once it went viral. Many saw it as jealousy, especially since Clark's golf videos pulled more views than the WNBA finals. This year, with Kai Trump involved, those same insecurities resurfaced. Players and fans questioned why Clark was getting more buzz for a golf swing than her WNBA stats. But the LPGA didn't hesitate. They doubled down. They paired Clark with world number 1 Nelly Korda and 10-time major champion Annika Sorenstam. Basically, the Mount Rushmore of women's golf. These legends praised her composure and competitive fire. Nelly Korda even said it felt like playing with a friend. She's that natural. Meanwhile, LPGA leadership called her a once-in-a-generation crossover draw. They built ad campaigns around her face. They gave her national TV coverage for a practice round. Now compare that to the WNBA. Underpaid, over-criticized, and often flat-out dismissed. The contrast is unreal. And now, as the LPGA event gets closer, the entire story has shifted. It's not just Clark returning to golf. It's Clark colliding with a Trump. The media turned it into instant theater. Headlines everywhere. Red carpet showdown. Two worlds collide. Politics meets the fairway. Insiders say Clark was blindsided by Kai's entry. One source said she worried the event would turn political instead of athletic. But Kai's camp brushed it off, saying she just wants to play. Still, the optics are loud. Both women are dominating attention, but for very different reasons. Clark represents the new era of women's sports. Record ratings, sold-out crowds, and the power of likability. Kai represents legacy, privilege, and political weight. Put them on the same tee box, and it stops being a golf swing. It becomes a cultural moment. The first day of the prom is already being hyped like a title fight. Picture this. Thousands of fans in fever jerseys on one side, Trump supporters waving flags on the other. cameras zooming in on every glance, every handshake, every polite smile that might be interpreted as shade. Analysts are calling it a proxy battle for the future of fame. Even ESPN hosts are asking, is this boosting women's sports or turning it into a circus? One viral tweet said it best. This isn't golf, it's reality TV with scorecards. But under all the noise, one thing is clear. Caitlin Clark didn't start this rivalry. The media did. She just wanted to play golf, help elevate women's sports, and enjoy her off-season. Yet here she is again, at the center of jealousy, politics, and endless arguments over who deserves attention. When the cameras start rolling at Pelican Golf Club on November 12th, every second will be scrutinized. Will Clark and Kai share friendly laughs or awkward silence? Will the focus stay on golf or turn into a headline circus? No one knows. But what's obvious is this: both are symbols of how powerful attention has become in sports. For Kai, it's inherited. For Caitlin, it's earned. Clark's fame comes from talent, professionalism, and authenticity, the kind that crosses every